Go ahead. You start the show, please.
Hi, start the show. Well, welcome. I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
We're going to unpack some shit with you today.
Got big suitcase full of shit.
We have so much shit to unpack. Tom and I are friends. We work in television together. We did improv together, and we have very honest and open discussions. And we seem to draw both people that are very intellectual and have a lot to say, and a little bit of crazy people that have some stalker tendencies. So it's interesting to see the responses that we get because we really crack open some shit.
Who doesn't like a little crazy?
Wow. I guess it depends.
I like, the Cracker Jack. What was the best part about Cracker Jack?
The surprise.
Correct. If you knew what it was, you wouldn't be. There's that anticipation that maybe they put $100 bill or something in there one time.
I loved Cracker Jacks and I loved the surprise. I don't ever remember any of the surprises, so they apparently were not monumental, but it was very exciting. Do you remember any of your Cracker Jack surprises?
Well, yes, I do. You'd have the occasional rub-on tattoo where you'd lick it and then you'd stick it on your body some fashion, right?
Yes, that was scandalous back then, tattoos.
Look at me, I'm a sailor or a prisoner.
Yes.
Just escaped from the county. And then they have the occasional ring.
Oh, I don't remember
like a ring. And then, because they used to be like where did you get that ring? Cracker Jack.
Okay, I do remember hearing that. I don't remember getting. It's been so long. I mean, when's the last time you had Cracker Jacks? Is it still out there?
Yes, I do occasionally see them available, like in a Walmart. Sometimes they'll have 3-packs. I don't know. I've probably had Cracker Jack within the last 10 years. Maybe at a baseball game, that would be something I would buy. And then you always find that the boxes get smaller, the amount of peanuts start to diminish, and you get 6 caramel popcorns and.
Right. That was exciting when I actually have joined on Instagram like an old style candy group, so you can get like candy necklaces and the wax.
Oh, those are fun.
I love all that stuff, and the cigarettes that the first time you could take them out, you could do that fake little puff. You know how exciting that was, having the candy cigarettes. Is that a thing with kids anymore? Candy cigarettes?
It's fun because I was watching they've got these things called Mad Men parties down in downtown St. Pete. There's one gentleman in particular who drives that bus. And as a matter of fact, I was a part of a charity event with one of these Mad Men things. And, people dress up in that era from the 60s.
So you get together and the men just cheat on all the women?
Yeah, it's a lot of cheating, a lot of violence.
All right.
Yeah, but all in all, a lot of fun.
A lot of costumes, which is nice.
And I saw a lady with a candy cigarette. And she was quoted saying, "I don't smoke. It's a fake cigarette."
Everybody smoked on Mad Men constantly.
Constantly.
Era. Yeah, my mom was a smoker, and she smoked all of it. It was normal.
And the drinking.
Cocktails all the time.
I would be a wreck. I can't have 2 drinks at night before I'm on the couch and I'm done. I've never been a big drinker.
Me either, but don't you think that's why people died so early? They were killing themselves, so they were drinking hard liquor.
Roll in the cart. Ice cubes in the bucket.
I did enjoy Mad Men, but there was definitely a lot of abuse and a lot of men just did whatever they wanted, and it didn't matter. You could have the wife and the girlfriend and another girlfriend, and if the wife fussed about it, well, then he would just get an apartment.
All right. My dad, that's my dad's reality. My dad worked downtown in Chicago. He wore that raincoat, and he wore the hat. I mean, he was Don friggin' Ham. Yeah. And I was, and then according to the timeline, I was like the boy. I mean, I was, 4 years old in 1962.
Yeah.
So I was that kid, not the older sister, but he, Don Ham finished, fit my dad's profile, not the job, but downtown, had the hat, wife at home, making dinner. I mean, that was my life.
An apartment in the city.
And my dad never cheated on my wife.
That's what I'm saying. That was the big thing, right? Where the guy was like, "I'm just going to stay in the city tonight,"
Yeah. That's trouble.
That sounds normal and good.
I don't know that. Clearly, you don't know what anybody did, but there certainly was no scandal. Not even a suggestion of any nonsense. He was home. You could set your watch. He's taking the turn over by Bell Surgical at 5:15 with the Chicago Daily News tucked under his arm.
Well, you didn't have time to cheat. How many siblings do you have?
8 kids. He's exhausted.
You didn't have time for that. Maybe somewhere else. It's too expensive. So
He never left the house. I think he famously would get a call every 3 months on this phone. And we'd like, who's calling dad? He never gets phone calls, and he never would say anything. He never would say who it was, whether it was a buddy. We never thought it was never scandalous. It was never some, a woman saying, "May I speak to Bernard?" No, it was some gruffy guy saying, "Yeah, can I talk to your dad?" And then his famous thing was he would answer the phone with yellow.
did that.
No way.
My mom's mother would always go, yellow.
And we kids thought that was a blast.
Yes.
So my dad's thing was yellow on the phone, and my mom was, "Hey, I got to let you go now."
Yes, I remember that.
Right.
I gotta let you go. I utilized that the other day.
And did you know how your folks voted politically?
I don't believe so. I don't
mean-
believe I did.
Yeah, I'm guessing we were Democratic. I mean, we were Mayor Daley Democrats, but Dad never wanted to have a political discussion, never wanted to talk philosophy. It's like kind of sad. It's like, well, it's my vote and it's my secret. It's like, I know, but I'm your son. Don't you think I'd be interested in the way you think?
I think a lot of things were acceptable as a secret, right? Because I was always torn up about the secrets and the non-talking. My dad was in the military, so
Yeah.
that leaned him one way or the other, politically speaking. But I never really knew. I always knew, like, we weren't allowed to ask. Like, we weren't allowed to ask how much money they made. I remember that
Right.
was very disturbing to my parents. We weren't, like, if a family thing came up, like, well, what happened to Aunt Susan? They're like, you don't talk about that. I grew up in an era where we were hushed and we hushed. Like, we didn't have the internet.
Right.
We didn't Google Aunt Susan.
Well, I mean, my dad, he never made a lot of money. He raised 8 kids. We talked about this.
Yeah.
And then when the time came to fill out, college applications and college, grant and aid and things like this, he was like, ugh. He really didn't want to fill out those forms because he didn't want to disclose. He didn't want me to know how little money he made.
Right.
I mean, he had a white collar job
Yeah.
on a nice, very straight down the middle class. We all went to private school. It's not like we were scratching out whatever, but I mean, I don't know how he did it. The math never worked out.
Yeah. Well, I never knew that we were poor until my dad retired. And then we lived in, like, the normal world, because I always lived in Navy housing. I was around a bunch of military kids. So we all, had kind of the same, we wear a lot of the same clothes, and we never thought too much about it. But unfortunately, when I was in my middle school years, which we all know are just the best, most favorite years of all.
Good time to wear hand-me-downs.
Right? Your body's growing, your mind isn't, and it's all very confusing. And that's when I moved, and I had to be around rich people that were never in the military. They didn't know anything about the military life. And I was embarrassed because for school every year, we got one pair of shoes and one outfit. I had 3 siblings. That's all we got.
Yeah, I got a suit on for Easter.
These people went shopping all the time. They had something called disposable income. I didn't know about. My family didn't go out to eat. That was not like a thing we did. By God, why would you pay $3 for a meal when you can make it at home for 50 cents?
I don't think that we ever went out as a family. Now, we would have pizza occasionally brought in on a Friday, and my grandmother occasionally, rarely, somebody's anniversary, somebody's birthday, not a kid's birthday,
Right.
we'd go out. But I can't. If somebody told me we went out 7 times from age 0 to 21 as a family, I'd say, that's probably about right. But not counting McDonald's, or I'm saying sitting down and someone handing you a check at the end of the meal.
It wasn't the norm.
Wasn't 7 times. We never did it 7 times. Don't worry.
Right. It wasn't the norm. I will say, when because my dad was gone a lot, he worked on nuclear submarines, so he'd be gone out to sea 6 months at a time, home for a couple months, gone for 6. So that was normal for us at dad. And we couldn't wait, because when dad left, we manipulated the hell out of our mom because we knew we were all too much for her. So when dad came home, we all behaved. Right. But when my dad would come home, we'd all go out to a Chinese restaurant. That was
that's nice. That's nice.
And it was and that was during the days when you dressed nice, you acted nice. When we flew on the plane to go back to mainland, we dressed up because we were going on a plane, by God.
Yeah. No. You collared shirt, nice shoes. It was fancy time.
Yeah. So yeah, so the world is a very different place. And I know people think it's funny, but I kind of appreciate the fact that I didn't have the internet and wasn't compared socially, because I unfortunately watched the series on HBO called Euphoria. Have you heard of it?
No, ma'am.
It will fuck you up. It's all about,
I may miss that one then.
yes, I don't know that I recommend it, although she won an Academy Award for, she's a very young girl, maybe 21 years old, for her performance, which she well deserves. It's all about high school and like drug addiction and sexual abuse and how families manipulate it. It was gut wrenching. So, of course, I watched the entire season because, that's what I want to do during the pandemic. It was so bad that I told myself last night, I'm done with TV, turning off the TV. Today,
What?
no TV Wednesday, because it messed me up. I got sucked into the drama of like, I'll just watch one more. And then I was like, oh, but is he going to die? Let me watch the next one. And I just wrapped up in a little blanket and watched all the shows. But it's worth watching if you want to learn about the pressures of kids in high school, because sorry about the cat, man, the pets really run this household. But the fact that you've got your phone all the time, anybody can take a picture of you anytime. If you go to a party and do something dumb, you tell me how many times growing up we haven't done dumb things.
Oh, Lord.
We've all done things we don't want people to know about, and we certainly don't want it on the internet for other people to get off on. And that's what happens now. Anybody's kissing or making out, or they barge into a room where someone's having sex, and it's uploaded in seconds on the internet, and it talks about all that pressure and the slang. And like, one young girl was, she didn't have money, and she was kind of naive, and she saw how people were living, so she realized there were fetishes online, so she started doing porn fetishes to make money so she could buy things. You know what I mean? And it makes me sad because I, as a high schooler, was so naive and so blind. I didn't even know people were having sex. I thought that was something that married people did. I didn't know. It's kind of nice to be living in that world of bliss. I feel bad for kids now because
Right.
how young do you think it is before kids are introduced to porn?
Right. You're way too soon.
Right. So yeah, so this is happy. What are your topics?
I have two topics today:
Yes.
pet lessons and Arin Sorkin.
Okay. And like normal, I have way too many topics, so I'll let you choose. Ready? Nipplegate, superpowers.
I won't even pretend to write anything down.
Yeah, don't pretend. It looks studious though when you're doing this.
I can't even read it.
Superpowers. Is it Tobin? Jeffrey Tobin, the guy that masturbated on Zoom, which I'm sorry to say, because he was 27 years at the New Yorker, and now he's the guy who masturbated on Zoom. And then morning routine and songs for life.
Well, you've done the morning routine in the past, so let's do that. I mean, we didn't do it. You mentioned it.
Right. Okay. Do you have a morning routine? I, in the last 5 years, have traveled 5 days a week, and now I'm home.
5 days a week.
So now it's
Rocket
weird.
Man.
I like not having, there are certain things I like, but I like the surprise of not having a morning routine. And now I have found, now that I am home, I've created a morning routine. So I'm curious do you have a morning routine? Like,
It's very short.
okay.
I mean, I was trying to take a cold shower in the morning. I did that a little bit.
That's difficult, but yeah.
I thought about jumping in the pool this morning, and maybe not.
Warm there in Florida?
No, it's cold. It was in the 50s this morning.
Okay. We had our first freeze warning. The bird bath was frozen this morning. So yeah.
Isn't it crazy though? The cold, if you would jump in that cold pool in the first thing in the morning, that would set your day. That would be a positive thing to do. Shock your system, get your adrenal glands going. Your focus would be razor sharp. But yet,
why do you do it then?
Because it's fucking cold.
Well, tell yourself you're going to get a reward afterwards. That's what you have to reward yourself.
I don't know what they would be. That's crazy. It's interesting. I've stopped doing push-ups. Haven't done a push-up in 3 weeks.
My niece Trina does push-ups now because of you.
I'm so angry at myself. I wonder how many I could do. Maybe 30. So I got to start that again. It's interesting. It's always a battle. You're fighting all the time.
Yeah. Well, I because I traveled, I liked that I woke up in a new city every day and everything was different. I do like a lot of change. But now that I'm home, here's what I've discovered about myself. I like excitement and I like good news, but I also like harmony. So sometimes they conflict, right? Because harmony is like, let's keep a steady pace, but I like excitement. So what I do every morning when I wake up, I've got a 15-year-old dog, so sometimes that affects how I wake up if she needs something or whatever. As soon as I wake up, before I get out of bed, I try to think about what I was dreaming. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. And then before I set up or do anything, unless the dog has a crisis, I think about what I want to happen that day. Not the reality of, oh, have breakfast, feed the, I'm like, what exciting thing do I want to happen? And I'll make things up like, I would like to have a financial surprise today. And then I just have it on my mind all day. Let's have a financial surprise. And I usually share it with my niece because then she gets jacked up and then she'll go, I had a financial surprise. So every day I try to do a, hey, it doesn't always happen, but it gets me jacked up. So I feel like I think I might get some extra money today. Doesn't necessarily happen. And then my great joy in the mornings, and this is me leading myself into old age, I love feeding the birds. I have created a bird thing. And so a lot of birds come now, and I love it when I go out in the mornings because they all watch me, they wait for me. And I've learned I have the bird feeder and I have 4 different feeders, but I also have learned if I put it on top of the bushes they like to get in the bushes and eat. And then I put fresh water. It's my old lady thing. It gives me great joy to feed the damn birds.
Did you ever see Going My Way, the movie? It's an old black and white movie with Bing Crosby and Barry Fitzgerald.
No, I have not seen it. No.
And there's a scene in there where Barry Fitzgerald, he's the Monsignor of the he's a parish priest. They're both priests.
Okay.
So one of my favorite movies of all time. It's classic. We used to watch it every year as kids, and so
Wow.
even though before recording, but it was like a Christmas movie. Going My Way had a kind of a Christmas ending.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
But there was a scene where Barry Fitzgerald, even after the church has burned down,
Yes.
in the morning with a bucket of water, putting water into the bird bath, feeding the birds. Yeah, they still gotta feed the birds, feed the water the birds, take care of the animals. It was always a scene you never forget when you see him pour that bucket of water into the feeder, and the birds come over and they start washing themselves. And
Love it. By the time I come back in the house and look out the window, they're flying all around. And I loved there was ice in the bird feeders or in the fountain. So I dumped it out and I put some nice like lukewarm water, and they all came in. And it gives me great joy. I can't tell you why.
I get my routine is I take 2 supplements in the morning.
Okay.
One's like a little caffeine booster mini drink, kind of like a 5-hour energy because I don't drink coffee.
Okay.
And then the second is I drink a glucosamine and chondroitin MSM supplement. It's liquid for my joints.
How long you been doing that?
Fucking some version of that for 20 years.
Amazing. What made you do that 20 years ago? Why?
I was, I used to listen to a lot of talk radio.
Okay.
And occasionally you get, some guy out there, talking supplements or whatever. And he says, hey, if you're going to, take one thing, this is what the one thing is going to go. Your cartilage, your, connective tissue, that he goes, was recommended vitamin E, fish oil, things like that. So I was a very early adopter of all that. I was taking, there was a time where I was taking cod liver oil, and I think I mixed it with milk. Sounds disgusting. In a little, like a Gerber baby food jar. Right? And
Okay, yes.
put cod liver oil in there, and then you put milk. I think it was milk, and then you just shake it violently and just drink it because it would be horrific. And that was when I was single, living in a condo, and I wasn't even married. I wasn't even with home. So that was 30 years ago. I was doing that. Plus 30 years ago, plus when I was doing that. And then I take my other supplements after breakfast, and I enjoy not feeding, but watering my plants. I go to Costco, and I got this. I just picked my first tomato off the tomato plant. It wasn't quite ripe, but looked like it was ripe to me. So I picked it. I go, still a couple of days away. But I've got like 6 or 7 tomatoes on that thing, and they take water like crazy. You put a gallon of water in each one of those tomato plants, the pepper plants, on a daily basis. A gallon of water.
Call Costco and get them to sponsor us at this point. I feel like you've given them quite a bit of business. Costco.
I'm trying to salvage those plants I killed. They're all black, not a speck of yellow on it. They're all black, but the green is still alive. So
So have you ever tried during the day to like try to direct your day? Like, you know what, today I'm gonna be more adventurous, or today or is it more spontaneous for you?
No, I wish that I'd say, okay, I'm writing from 10 to 11 every morning. I'm going to sit down and write comedy, write a memoir, write a how to do book, something. I wish I did this, but I'm essentially lazy. And so the day drags me in its own direction. So I'll wake up, oh, I've got an Amazon order. Oh, I've got something from Commerce Hub. I have to fill a Lowe's thing. Oh, I've got to get home shopping needs something for the items, blah blah blah. So I'm way too reactive and not proactive. But
Okay.
I kind of burn through the day, and I enjoy it. I find time to nap on the couch and go for a walk or something. But
Yeah.
I try to keep up on my chores. I needed to be, I need to plant more seeds,
Right.
look for different products, make more presentations. I mean, I've been partnering with Matt Davis. Davis and I have been bringing products in the home shopping. Like I said, we're bringing in a brand new version of the Water Light. I'm bringing in a brand new version of that tape thing. And those are just, I mean, it's just like, hey, let's bring that, and it's happening. And
Yeah.
you can make a pretty decent living just doing a couple of items. You have one hot item at home shopping. We sell that cup call thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the I did the math because I'm a vendor, so I kind of guess where the number
Yeah.
is, where the
Yeah.
production is. But they made probably 2 to 3, maybe upwards of $400,000 in a day or
That's right.
over a weekend. I mean, cleared money.
Yeah. No, that's why we do what we do, right? I mean, it's a risk, but it's worth the risk if you can win. It is a big risk to take. I'm doing something super scary for my job tomorrow. Guess what I'm doing for my job tomorrow? I'm so
What?
nervous about it. So y- this is for the QVC stuff that I do. I sell a product that they want me to do before pictures with no makeup, with no product that they can show on QVC, and then show the process of it. They've been after me for 2 years to do this. 2 years, QVC's like, come on, Melinda. So finally I said yes. So tomorrow's the big day. But because of COVID, we had to set things up where the building I'm going to an hour up north, I'm driving, no one's been in it since March. They've just sanitized it. So a cameraman is meeting me, staying behind a glass wall. So we're going to do all this during COVID because I want to show QVC that yes, I'm dedicated. Yes, I'll do it. I'm not thrilled about, you know, having
Right.
professional cameras on my skin, but I want to show how great the product is. So I'm very nervous. I'm sure it'll be fine. I find in my life the anticipation of something is sometimes much worse than the
Of
actual event.
course.
But
Now, are they in agreement that they're not going to use these pictures after you're gone from the item?
I had them yesterday. I said I need a contract stating that these will only be shown when I am showing this product on air, and I have to give permission every time that you can show it. You can't use it for any other media outlets for anything. And they said, of course, but they are a company. If they make a lot of money, of course they would want to show it other ways. So yes, I did request that, and they know I won't go tomorrow unless the contracts are signed, because of course it's very easy. I've had that happen with other companies where I haven't been smart enough to sign the right contract, and then they've used my image over and over again. No one should ever sign a perpetuity contract or allow those things to happen, but they do happen in this
I
business.
mean, I know a woman, just a Facebook friend. I think we met one time, but very attractive in her 20s. She was an absolute knockout, big
Yeah.
hourglass figure, stunning face, whatever, beauty queen.
Yeah.
And she'll, and now she's, 53 or whatever, but she'll see her picture, advertising products on the internet that she's never getting compensated. And who knows where the picture came from. They're just grabbing her picture and using it in association with the product that they're selling. And good luck trying to ever track that down.
Good luck. I have a friend who they used her photo. I think she did modeling once when she was very young, used her photo for one of the psychic networks. They put a bandana on her and pretended to shoot, and everybody's like, hey, do you know? And so she called, she couldn't stop
I mean,
them.
unless you want to, hire an army of attorneys.
Please. Yeah. So I'm very nervous. I know that seems like a little like, oh, really? That's what you're nervous about? But it's a kind of exposure. I'm going to be,
Yeah, absolutely. No,
and,
no.
I'm not 20 anymore. My skin was great when I was 20. I'm not 20 anymore. So it's
Oh,
scary.
let me just tell you, anybody that ever sees the show, like, they say, oh, I was watching a show. And I tell them how old you are. They don't believe it. They go, you're kidding me. Isn't she like 45?
See, that's a good one. I mean, I remember being 45. I'm 59. My 60th birthday is in January. I'm already making plans. I'm quite excited about it. But yeah, so that's what's happening with work tomorrow, and I'm sure once it's done, I'll have some horrifying stories to share with you on Friday about what, because I feel like I'm going naked in front of these people. You know what I mean? I feel naked. And then the first time I'll be able to see how they implement it is when I do my show in January, and all of a sudden,
There they
millions
are. And they're
there.
all together. Well,
So it's
I've seen women on HSN, make a living of walking off with nothing on, and then they're looking like hell. They got marks and black marks and skin, flaws, and
yeah.
they just do makeup live on TV.
It's scary. I actually started my career at HSN modeling skincare, and then I got snagged into modeling a tanning a tanning thing. Now, these were the days, Tom, where you could wear bikinis on air. So I've got funny pictures. I'd wear a bikini and they would tan my body, draw a line.
Oh, that's
Like,
right. Was that Tony or who's it?
no, it was with a company called Parthena Cosmetics,
Oh.
Parthena. And so I would go on air with half of my body tan in a bikini. And I'll never forget Kathy Wolf, who's the nicest. She was the nicest host. I was very nervous because, they zoom in. They zoom in on your stomach and,
Sure.
I was much younger. I was okay. I didn't work out, but I was okay. I was a smaller person. I'll never forget Kathy came in as a host, and I was a new model, and she pointed to my stomach muscles and she goes, "Look at this. Obviously she works out. She obviously and I just remember thinking, I will love you forever, Kathy Wolf, for saying those nice things about me. But when you're young, you can get by with that stuff. I would never do that now. Do the half tanning because it was the face and everything. I had to walk around for days half tan to keep the tan for the show. But yeah, I get what the models do. It's worth the money. I mean, it's a nice little paycheck, and it's
Of course.
kind of a fun. When people want you to model something, it's fun. But I'm not excited, and I don't expect it to be fun. But hopefully, it'll be worth it in the long run because I'm really just trying to show people,
Of
hey,
course.
it
So what was the topic again?
So we were talking about I don't know. What were we
It
talking?
was your list. It was the second from the last.
Gosh darn it. Oh, well, we started out with morning routines, and then
Oh, okay. They evolved into this. That's fine. That's fine.
it spiraled into this.
So yeah, my routine is those vitamins and watering the plants
Okay,
and feeding the animals. I feed the horses every morning and the cats. So there's a little bit of routine.
okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Like that. So I know the other day you mentioned something about lessons you learned from your pets. I am hoping this is not going to be tragic, and this is going to be very sweet and lovely. Is it sad or is it sweet and lovely?
Let's talk about something else.
Are you kidding me? Can we talk about Nipplegate?
How about Aaron Sorkin?
Okay, tell. What?
So Aaron Sorkin famously wrote West Wing. He wrote A Few Good Men, and he wrote all sorts of things. He wrote he's being featured now on Netflix with the Chicago 7.
Oh, I saw that. That was really compelling.
So Aaron and I watched Aaron Sorkin on Master Class. I mean, it was marvelous. If
Yeah.
you're interested in writing for TV or writing for movies or anything, you're insane not to be on master classes because they've got 12 different people that attack that whole genre and from 12 different angles. Ron Howard, Martin Scorsese, everybody's on that thing. It's just fabulous. Well, so anyway, I'm listening to NPR,
Yes.
and he's doing the rounds because he's got the new one on Chicago 7.
Yeah.
And so they've got this kid as a guest interviewer. It's not the classic standard female everybody knows that I can't remember her name,
Okay.
but we've got and I suspect he's a black guy, the way that he's talking and the references he's making about Chicago 7.
Okay.
And he sounds like he's young. All right. So he's over the moon talking to Aaron Sorkin
Of course.
because his writing teacher said, believe me, he's the writing teacher made some sort of reference about the pinnacle of this whole thing is Aaron Sorkin and whatever. And Aaron Sorkin famously once said, "Hey, not everybody's going to be a poli sci major," and this guy was a poli sci major who took classes. Long story short, after a nice half an hour interview where Aaron was very revealing and the kid was just blowing sunshine up his skirt the whole time, but it was a fun interview. And the guy said, goodbye, Mr. Sorkin. Thanks so much for the interview. And then Arin Sorkin goes, all right, you bet, pal.
You don't like that. You like them to say their name.
I said, if he would have said, Sam, it's been my pleasure. Thanks so much for everything. That would have been such a thing for that kid.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm like, really, Arin? You can't come up with the guy's name? You're on NPR.
That is your pet peeve. I've learned from you because now when I do my segments, I'm very careful to make sure I know their name and I say it correctly because I've always said my pleasure. I never wanted to mess up their name. And now I get,
I mean, am I crazy?
no, it's a good thing. I hope you write to Alan and say,
Arin, go on.
I did say Alan.
Yes, you did.
I didn't want to say his full name because you kept saying Arin Sorkin, Arin Sorkin. I'm like, he really is just Arin. I doubt that people go, hi, Arin Sorkin. Do you think they do?
Well, if I just said Arin, I'm going to guess you wouldn't know who I was talking about.
No, but every time you mentioned him, you said Arin Sorkin said, Arin Sorkin said, like it was one name. So I tried to say his first name and couldn't even fucking get it right.
He's Scandinavian. Arin Sorkinson.
Oh, wow. I mean, maybe some people need to be called by both names so it is more clarified. Because clearly, if I said his first name only, I thought his name was Alan. So you're doing the right thing. I did the wrong thing.
This is not right or wrong.
Today's tip is always say their name.
Say their name. It's such a thing. My brother taught me that so early in life. I watched him work a crowd, and everybody loved my brother Bernie. They still do. He's great.
Yeah.
Like, God, he's always saying something compliment. Is that a new jacket? That color is great on you. I'm like, wow, this guy's working. And he's not in it, but it's in his nature. It wasn't he was angling for something. He's 19 years old and he's working it hard,
Right.
That was great.
Yeah. Oh, good old Bernie. Bernie nice.
Now he's pickleball champ of Alabama.
Pickleball?
Pickleball? Hey, you want to play the pickleball?
I have zero idea what that is.
Come on.
Pickleball? No.
It's pickle. I'm trying to say pickle.
Oh, I've heard of pickle recently. I honestly didn't know what is that a new thing, a new trend? Because I've recently heard
it's huge now. Pickleball is all over the place, and now it's even coming back in the age of COVID because you're a distance away. It's like playing tennis. It's an old man's version of tennis.
Yeah, explain to our audience what pickle is because I don't know that everybody has heard of it.
I don't know where the word comes from, but the game is played with kind of oversized ping pong rackets, oversized ping pong, or shortened tennis rackets. You choose, but it's a flat surface, like a flat fiberglass or wooden surface. And then the ball is about, oh, look at this. The ball is
magic. I didn't hear it drop at all.
I'm supposed to cough as it hits. So the ball's about this side, but it's a little dull. It's not really super bouncy like a tennis ball.
Okay.
So
there, yes, you're welcome. So what's the goal of the game then?
So it plays much like tennis, and they play on a half court of a tennis. Think of it, got a full size tennis court, then they play on a half court with a net, and then they play with 4 people. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're looking at a very relatively small space to play, and it's kind of a quick game. And apparently he's got something down pat. That's what Nixon said. And then
Bernie.
Yeah, I mean, he's every time I tune into his Facebook page, he's getting a medal for something.
Yeah, good for him. Well, we have to adapt to these times. That's good that people are coming up with creative ways to be active and to do.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of weight. His wife has lost a lot of weight. She had double knee surgery. She's down 50 pounds. She's got a small frame. 5'2".
How did she lose the weight? What'd she do?
She became, ever see somebody who gets all of a sudden they start seeing results and they get the trigger flips.
Sure.
Now I'm at the gym 7 hours a day. I'm eating air, flavored air.
Yeah.
And so she's become, to her credit.
Yeah, amazing.
you become addicted to the exercise. I'm on the Stairmaster for an hour and a half. I'm doing weights. I'm doing this. And it's just taking, and she's just shrunk down to, she's got the body
Wow.
she had when she was, 25.
That's gotta feel amazing. I
And,
need I need to get in that headspace. I actually joined an app with my niece so we can compete with each other. I still have done nothing, and she keeps sending me burned
yeah.
this many calories. I haven't done it. I ordered more zebra cakes.
Hey, it's one step at a time. Just make small changes. But like, you know what? I'm not beating myself up. I haven't been doing my push-ups. I'm gonna get back to doing them. I
Yeah.
mean, I played that damn kickball. I was outside last Sunday.
Yeah.
Kickball with all the comics. It was a blast.
Did it wear you out?
I I did like a little 10-yard sprint to get the ball. I was exhausted. And this is me because I was playing basketball. I played basketball for the last 10 years, twice a week. I was in good shape. That
Yeah.
COVID kicks in February. We shut down the gym. I mean, now my biggest thing is to make it out to the mailbox. And even then I'm bitching the whole way. God damn it, that's far.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, because
I got to get back into the treadmill or rowing machine or something because it's
yeah,
getting
rowing machine.
bad.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I've got an elliptical. I've used it once in 7 months. So it's time. It's time to get back to it.
Hey, I'm going to be working out again because I'm moving to Patrick's, and then I'll be moving all these weights over there. All
Yeah.
those weights go. So that's it. I'll at least get that one good workout.
So if you live with Patrick, would you guys motivate each other? Would you
In theory,
okay.
this is going to be a good thing.
Well, that's why I joined the app with my niece. So I would have like an accountability partner.
But you know what it is? You put $500 on it, and let's see who's doing what.
Damn, you're right about that.
That
You're
would, oh, $500. Yeah, if I don't do this by then, I owe you 500. Oh,
I might have to do that's actually brilliant.
yeah. Now you got my attention. I have to do what? Yeah, you take $500. As a matter of fact, write me a check for 500 and to post date it 37 days. And if I don't lose 15 pounds by then, just go ahead and cash that check.
See, my goal in my head is my birthday. By January 20th, I wanted to feel better about my body. I've always had a decent body, but definitely during COVID, I put on the weight. And so I'm not feeling myself. So mentally, I'm like, because listen, I'm big on birthdays. I'm planning a photo shoot. I'm doing all kinds of things for my birthday. And I wanted to feel good
Well,
about
you're 6 weeks out, 7 weeks out.
it's still attainable.
You can lose 2 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds a week.
Unless you really like, if you hit it hard, you can lose.
So you can lose 12 pounds.
All right. So that's my goal. I'll lose 12 pounds. I'm going to start today.
And
'Cause
my
I got-
name is Tom Wise on the check.
and I'll write it
Yes, me.
down.
I won't mail it. I won't cash it unless you show it.
Make sure you lose 12 pounds by the 20th, which the 20th is going to be a great day because then Joe Biden's going into
Joe
office
Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden.
and Kamala.
Come
So
on.
I'm excited about that. So, very good. Okay. We can't talk about the pet thing because you very much made it sound like this was not going to be.
But let me just say this in a grand scheme of things. I think that it gives people a kind of an awareness that we're not here forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's a positive thing that a pet also gives not by its purpose, but by offering you a glimpse at the cycle. So you should appreciate it every day. And and that people act like they're going to live forever. They're not.
You really do, don't they? Yeah, that's been an interesting. Actually, that's. I'm glad you brought that up because one of my topics was superpowers, but the way I wanted to talk about it was superpowers, not traditionally where we go, oh, I want to be invisible and go into the locker room. Superpowers to make the world better. If you could have a superpower that would make the world better, what would your superpower be?
Well, I don't have a lot of information about this, but I've seen that, clean water is a problem.
Yeah.
And it's such a basic human need.
So basic.
They get sick for drinking bad water when it's not necessary,
Yeah.
So if I had a magic wand
Clean water for everybody.
for all my friends.
For all your friends, which is crazy because it is a basic human need. And that's something we do take for granted, but it is such a big deal. I
And you, Missy?
My secret power, and you might think this is crazy, but this is what I want. I have told you in the past that I've worked with Buddhist monks. I've practiced with Buddhist monks, and the thing that the monks would talk about is
Oh,
their
was this
ability.
before or after Hawaii?
This was after Hawaii. First, I lived in Hawaii, and then I practiced with a Buddhist monk. I'm better than everybody. I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate that my dad was in the military and I lived in Hawaii. And I'm fortunate that my friends pressed upon me to study with this monk because I wouldn't have done it on my own. I was very intimidated by it. But what I learned from this monk was they can see auras, which is the color around you, which is based on like kind of like the mood ring thing, like
Right.
how your energy is. When you're angry, it's one color. So this monk Banti, I became friends with him, and we had quite an interesting relationship. And I took my daughter to Orlando, and we stayed in Orlando for like 4 days, and we did a type of a study for 4 days, just hanging out, learning lessons, eating the food, doing all this stuff, right? So during the drive, because he was in the car with me, I drove him. I had a lot of questions, and at one point I asked him, "What's my aura? What do you see?" Now this was right at the beginning of my separation after
Okay.
many years of marriage.
It's green or blue. Go on.
Here's what he said. I was stunned because I did not expect this. He looked at me. Here's the thing when you talk to a monk, they're direct, but not in a bad way, but they're direct. I feel like we have been taught to sugarcoat and kind of talk around and not be straight. He looked at me very calmly and said, "Well, your aura has many holes in it right now. There's holes."
I've never heard of holy aura.
Because I think I had a lot of issues. I had a lot of problems. Like I had holes in my aura. So my superpower would be, I feel like a lot of problems would be resolved if we could just get to the truth of things. I feel like a lot of things are misleading, and people care more about money than human life. If we could literally see everybody's
Not
aura.
all Republicans.
I'm not even talking about Republicans.
Oh,
I
all
mean,
right.
I feel badly that we have gotten ourselves to a point where it's more important to make money than it is to care about other people. If we could see people's auras at all times, then
Ooh.
you would have to be led to being more honest and being more accommodating to the world. Because if you had a dark aura, people wouldn't participate.
This is Shallow Hal. You're repeating the theme of Shallow Hal.
In a way, yeah, in a way, but right, because
Yes.
people
Couldn't
don't.
hide behind your Gucci bag and your name brand suit jacket.
When we have political races, guess what? It's not going to be that hard. And then if people voted for the person with the darker aura, then we would kind of know, well, this is something we got to work on. But I feel like our whole society would change,
Wow, that'd be crazy.
right? That's what I want the superpower to be, is that you could see the truth of people. And if you saw someone with an aura like mine was previously with holes in it, you would know that, like, they need some help. They need some lessons. They've got to learn some things. Because here's the thing, in our world, I think a lot of people mean well, but because we're trying to survive, we don't always do well. For example, if I've talked about this before, in some cultures, if someone steals something in that culture, because they're all small villages and everybody knows everybody, someone steals something, instead of punishing the thief, they sit them down and talk to them and say, "What needs aren't being met? Why do you feel like you need to steal? Let's work on this problem." And we don't do that. We don't get to the gut. Why are you laughing?
You can just imagine that happening. I wanted that thing. Well, you shouldn't want that thing if it's not yours. I know, but I wanted it.
But isn't that how far we've fallen? Because if the truth were known, if someone steals something, their needs aren't being met. Maybe they're in an environment where they're unable to earn money, and then we can resolve that.
Right.
Let's get you in an environment where you can earn money.
Of course.
Now, I'm not saying everybody's fixable. Some people have mental health problems and they're always going to suffer. But if you could see everybody's aura and we're trying to really resolve problems, then maybe we could work on whatever those people's issues were and have them in an environment where they can teach and help each other. I was just talking to my niece about this morning. We don't teach about relationships. We don't teach about sex. We don't teach about how to be a good partner in life, in business.
Yeah, we're just trying to generate Walmart drones.
We really are.
Live in an apartment, work at Walmart.
I mean, drones are cool though. Drones are cool. But what if we did that? What if we actually learned how to take care of each other
It'd
and
be
how to,
lovely.
right?
Love is all you need.
And that's my dream. And I don't think it's too late. I think if we start taking small baby steps, that's how things get better. I know we can't change it overnight, but I would love to be able to see people's auras. And then if I was like out in the world dating and someone had a very dark aura, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe not today. Maybe we don't go out to dinner tonight because your aura is very dark and scary. Wouldn't you like that too? If you were
It'd be
dating,
marvelous. Absolutely. I had beers with a buddy of mine last night. Okay.
yeah,
And actually, three of us from home shopping. We've known each other for 30 years. He was the first TD I ever had.
okay.
And but he's dates these women that are bad for him.
In what way?
Yeah, they use him a little bit.
Okay. All right.
They're a little bit younger, so they're always playing that card, and he's attracted to that. It's like
Yeah.
you're spinning your wheels, my friend. That's just never ever going to go anywhere. And it's been years, and he knows it, and the other person was there knows it, and everybody knows it. But it's like it. It's one thing if you have an awareness and you're keeping this over here just to keep entertained or whatever.
Yes.
But it's if you're trying to make this work, you're insane.
Yes.
So where's your awareness that this is like, oh yeah, this is bad for me, but I'll keep it going because it gives me something to do on a Saturday. I mean, not even having sex anymore. It's like,
Sure.
and so, but I need to be growing and going in another direction.
Well, we lean towards what we know, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then sometimes it's like you go towards something that's no good for you, and even when you know it's no good for you,
Sometimes that temporary fix is what you need,
her
right?
aura is black.
Supposedly you can, when you reach a certain enlightenment, that you are able to see it when you've worked your way through all the stuff. I think in the world that we live in, because we're so distracted by things that don't necessarily matter, and like I said, we're surviving. Why do we work? We need the money. Why do we need the money? Because we're trying to live someplace. We're trying to eat our food.
Well, exactly. You're required to do something because you can't exist without eating, and no one's just going to hand you food unless you're liberal.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, before we go, I don't even want you to tell me time's up because I have to talk about Nipplegate. I have to.
Let's do it.
Do you know what Nipplegate is about?
Yeah, by your boyfriend.
My boyfriend Cuomo. So of course I did research because you're like, don't you know anything about your boyfriend Cuomo? And the answer is no, I don't know anything about him. So I did some research and looked at the photos. And so they did a story in April of this year saying, come on, what's the story? Because many years ago, when he took his shirt off, you couldn't see anything that looked like nipple rings. And then of course they interviewed people that were what you call it, like piercing artists or whatever they're called, saying, oh yes, this is the gauge, this is the ball, this is the this. Cuomo says, sorry, everybody, not a nipple ring. So they interviewed his girlfriend of 13 years. And the girlfriend of 13 years said, don't body shame people. Come on.
I read the same response, but she never says that there's no is the answer.
Didn't deny it. So I have to think, now I'm going to have that conversation on our first date.
You'd be uncomfortable, especially if you like nipples.
I wonder if I'm guessing someone like him, because it became Nipplegate, clearly people are talking about it. So it wouldn't be new information. And it could be something that triggers him that says, look,
Yeah, no, I would not bring up nipples the first out of the
not
box.
the first time, but
No way.
What if it's going really well?
Oh, come on. You're a sharp woman. At some point, you put your hand on his chest and you just go do a little rub.
I don't often rub a man's chest on the first date.
You could come up with a reason like, hey, or let's go dancing, and your hand starts this way. Oh, and you didn't quite get around.
It's not so obvious. I'm looking for the nipple ring. I think you're right.
Say, are you looking for something?
You're right. I would not mention it on the first date unless he opened the conversation to something funny and interesting and it was a natural pathway. Then I would, but I would never just bring it up on my own and go, we got to talk about the nipple ring. But now I feel like he has one just based on that information, because I looked at the photos. There's nothing else it could be. They said they thought he put a Band-Aid or something to try to like tap it down.
Well, he thought that, I also read the theory, but he did have a Band-Aid because he had, some people have normally excited nipples.
Well, I mean, that is a real thing. I mean, that is a real thing. I mean, I've done like photo shoots before. I did a thing for Universal Studios where they gave me a fake husband and fake kids, and they said, make sure you put Band-Aids on your nipples because we can't have the Universal mom with her nips sticking out. That was like a thing they said. Like, okay.
56 minutes into the podcast, you finally get to the real topic everyone wants to hear about.
Have you ever worried about that when you've gone on air about your nipples? Or do you wear t-shirts?
I generally wear t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that situation with my nipples. I had that situation when I used to run on a shirt. It's like, oh my God, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah, I'll never run, but I've heard that about runners, that's a problem. I'll never ever run unless someone's chasing me. I'm not a runner, but I definitely wear padded bras when I go on air because I'm very much aware of the fact that would be quite distracting.
And so you look like a double D now.
No, I'm already a triple D. I mean, you mean to press them down? The padded bras are worse because
That's what I'm saying. I thought you were adding a D, but no, you're there 3 already.
No, it's terrible. Well, I do try to wear clothes that don't emphasize the boobage because, like I said, when I worked at HSN,
nobody gets any work done then.
Guys in production, we're always talking. The producer was always talking when I was doing shows, telling jokes, and they would always say, oh, the first time they tried, oh, move the product down lower. And as I was moving it down, I realized what they were doing. So I just like, no, you son of a gun. But they laughed about it because they knew they would have changed the camera angle. They were just trying to get to me. And of course, to them, it's very funny. We've done a lot of shows, but I suggest people that watch HSN and QVC maybe start paying attention to that because there are funny little moments. If you were really paying attention, that you could see that, people that do shows a lot get bored and they need some excitement and they come up with some interesting. Don't tell me that's ever happened to you. Like, have you gotten in on the whole foot fetish thing where they tell you how to hold your feet? Because there's a whole sect of people that are into like what your feet look like.
I understand that's out there. I've never been asked to participate.
Yeah, we were told that when I was doing a steamer and I had to like step out from behind the table, they said, be careful when you bend over that your heel doesn't pop out of your shoe. I was like, okay, why? And they're like, well, we have this foot fetish group. They watch for that. That's like their orgasm. So don't let that. Who knew? I didn't know that. Did you know that? That's like a thing. Yeah, they follow the hosts and watch their feet. And if something exciting happens, it becomes part of the foot fetish thing, which I don't really care. If you get excited seeing my heel pop out of my shoe, enjoy it. It's fine.
See me on TikTok for more. Can you see me on Fans Only? I'll take off my shoes all day long.
It's a money maker for people. I don't think it's that unhealthy, the foot thing. I'm not into the foot fetish, but more power to you. You're not really hurting anybody with the foot fetish.
Hey, wish me luck. I got to come up with 10 minutes. I'm working on my set. I'm doing in a safe 10 minutes in a safe zone. They're doing a Zoom thing, Zoomcast, but it's at a regular club Friday night.
Zoom meaning the audience is Zoom, or
yeah, I think you'll have a few people in there safely, but most of the audience they're broadcasting it on Zoom.
And will you be at the place or on Zoom?
I'll be at the place with like 5 of the comics. I'm doing 10 minutes.
And when is this?
This is Friday night, late 9:00.
In a few days. I'm guessing you have 5-minute sets, so you just.
I've got material, but I don't want to do the same 5 minutes I've been doing. I've been doing some new writing.
Okay.
So the last time I tried out a new joke, it just crashed and burned. And I was so convinced it was going to be great.
That's the risk of. I'm sure everybody's going to be doing pandemic and COVID jokes, right?
Oh, I hope not. I'm not going to do it. I'm working on that concept about me telling an adult joke as an 11-year-old, not understanding what words I'm saying. I think it's funny.
Okay. Well, as a woman, we love it when stand-up comedians like make fun of themselves. Like if you are self-deprecating.
Oh, well, that's all about me. Just stumbling and bumbling and not knowing what I'm doing. Yeah. I don't even know what I'm saying.
We love that. Well, good luck. I'll be excited to hear about that. So that's in a few days. Today is Wednesday. And so our next show is Friday. So, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. So what's our tip of the day, Tom?
Say your name.
Say the other person's
That's
name.
a repeat tip of the day. Let me see if I have anything on the old phone. Oh, Kevin's coming over.
I don't know who Kevin is, but that sounds nice.
I've got the lawnmower in the pasture. You know that.
Oh, the lawnmower. Okay.
Huh. Women don't have anything to worry about me. That's a joke I'm working on.
Okay.
People not in relationships. That was last week. Don't sweat the small stuff. There we go. Let's bring out that old chestnut.
It's a good one. It's there for a reason.
It's true. You get distracted, have a bad day, and usually if you worry about something, 90% of things you worry about never even happen.
You're absolutely right. That's very true. That's what I was talking about going tomorrow without the makeup. I'm very worried about it, but really in the big scheme of life, what does it matter? Nobody cares what I look like without my makeup. It's fine.
Okay, I'll tell a story about that on Friday.
Okay, sounds good.
Until then, my name's Tom Wise.
And I'm Melinda McKinsey.
And thanks for sticking around and unpacking some shit with us. And we'll see you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on Friday. It's a date. And out.